In Berkeley, yes.
Yeah.
That's across from People's Park.
What was your degree?
Well, I didn't graduate. It was going to be philosophy and economics.
That makes sense.
Well,
That makes
it made sense, yes.
Philosophy especially.
Yes,
with what you
that
do.
part, yes. But,
Why economics?
my dad worked in finance, and I was convinced I wanted to work in finance, and that music wasn't a reasonable career choice, so I just kind of like did that, and then I...
What was fascinating about finance?
Nothing, absolutely nothing, yeah. I really hated it. I wasn't like, I'm not good with numbers either, so it was like putting in 10 times the effort.
Did you go to Wall
decent.
Street as a kid? As like take your daughter to work there and stuff?
NASDAQ, all the like everything, yeah. And everyone
sorry,
in my
I'm
family is like
fascinated.
incredibly like technical, and my brother's a software engineer, my sister studied biology, so like no one does the creative.
So you're the black sheep.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, now my sister is a fashion designer, which is fascinating as well.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a huge... Yeah, so we're changing and now my dad wrote a book, so he's also published creative. That's creative. It's about finance, but still
Very
cool.
Got to stretch out.
Exactly.
Look into other things.
So we're all becoming...
Yeah. Look at your influence
Yeah,
on your
exactly.
family.
There you go. That's the positive.
So tell me,
Yeah.
what is the crypto market like these days?
We are not talking crypto. I do not. I worked in crypto for a bit.
You know, with a lot of artists, they had all the crypto
The
and then
Web3
they
space,
had all
yeah.
the NFTs.
Exactly.
So, you know, this kind of talk
Yes.
does seep into.
Which like at the time, I think the ethos behind it at the time actually did make sense. It was like putting the power back into like independent artists, giving you a way to like actually monetize your work beyond traditional streaming, which like obviously inherently is not set up to,
Right.
prioritize the artist and their financial compensation. So it was a very good thing because it gave a lot of people the opportunity to like sell like the tokenized whatever, like this is individual cover art for X demo version of the song and whatever, and it gave collectors the ability to like be sort of art collectors but for music, which I thought was a really cool concept, but then it didn't really turn.
It didn't take off, yeah. I believed in it too.
Me too, yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, but
It didn't pan out.
No,
Just like the crypto market.
exactly.
So now you have all your money in ETFs. You have some funds.
Now I have all my money in this tour. Yeah, so fascinating stuff.
This is the amazing Eve of,
Hello.
AKA Earth to Eve.
Yes.
And I love the name of your stage name because it's kind of like Earth to Eve, hello, wake up.
Exactly.
And this now is putting all the pieces together in terms of your background, what you grew up with, what you're surrounded by.
Yes.
But then you were kind of doodling as you were at the New York Stock Exchange and you had no interest in ringing the bell or anything like that. Did you do that?
No.
Did you want to?
Not really, honestly.
It looks like fun.
It does kind of look like fun, and I do like bells and
Yeah.
little trinkets and whatnot, but honestly, it was a little too chaotic.
Welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here. And I think you fit really well in terms of your music in the Bay Area and San Francisco. Of course, you having a collegiate background not far from the city in Berkeley.
Yes.
Was that part of the draw coming to the Bay Area?
I definitely wanted to come back. I think a large part of like why I love the Bay Area and why I really liked Berkeley in general is like because the nature of my music, a lot of it is political. Just Berkeley being home to like free speech movement, San Francisco being home to like the third world liberation, like strikes, having like the first college of ethnic studies developed here, like all the like pan-ethnic solidarity movements, all the civil rights movements, LGBTQ movements, like seeing the community mobilize for one another, like ordinary people actually stand up and get done, is very cool and very impressive. And it's such a colorful, vibrant, like eclectic city, both like architecturally and just like in the different types of people that live here. So I was just really excited to come back. I love this place very much.
Yeah, obviously the home of counterculture.
Exactly.
Where it all started.
Perfect way to, exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
where the hippie movement started in the 60s and all the protests. Like your
Yep.
grandparents were probably a part of that at some
Yup.
point. Were they?
No.
No?
Yeah, no.
Oh. Well, you're from New York, so there's a lot of that there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Was that kind of what you were dreaming of as you were doodling and writing poetry and things like that?
Yes, very much so. And I think that was a large part. When I was living here, I was working at a VC. So I lived in San Francisco, like in Embarcadero for a little bit while I was at school. And I was working at the VC and just seeing this like complete contrasting existence to Berkeley life. I lived across from People's Park and I would see like, there's a lot of issues, obviously, with developers and the school trying to kick out the community and displace everyone. And so it's the contrast of that, like watching community members basically occupy People's Park for extended periods of time and try to protect the actual people who live there, versus people who were like actively at the time investing in commercial AI products that were going to automate away entire industries and everything that we were studying at Berkeley. So it definitely, working there, disillusioned me quite a lot, but also very much incentivized me to follow my passion, make music that connects people, because I could see it both in terms of trajectory of like where investments were going, and I could also feel it like in terms of, existing in the paradigm of like 2018, 2019, where we were going, and that like human connection, live music, all this stuff is going to come back, and we need to be doing more humanistic stuff as AI is sort of, and now we're here.
Yeah.
At this point in time.
7-8 years later.
Yeah, where every billboard on the drive here is AI, and they're all generated by AI.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It is awful. I am a Bay Area, longtime Bay Area resident, right, as we were speaking off camera, and it just pains me to see the change over the years. It's just like, we're here in the mission, basically. Yeah. And you know what the mission was like probably even just 5 years ago. And the change there in terms of the demographics and culture and those kind of things.
Exactly.
Where did all of this start? Because as a young person in elementary school, high school, it's interesting because you were at that intersection of the change of the political climate.
Yes.
And then as 2016, 17 changed everything, people changed, society changed. Mm-hmm. So how did your passion for music change? Because I'm sure as a youngster, you were probably, happy-go-lucky, and you're more into One Direction or Five Sauce, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you tell me.
Well, I was actually into One Direction. That was like the one exception. Okay. I did grow up like primarily on classic rock, and then I listened to a lot of hip hop growing up because I'm from New York. So there were a lot of amazing artists from there, like Joey Badass, and then obviously a lot of the historical people, older, like OGs. But One Direction was my exception. Yeah. I loved them very much. But in terms of like passion for music, I think what originally started as like this desire to be seen, if that makes sense. It was this like level of the world doesn't understand me. I sort of project this demeanor of like happy-go-lucky. I was like the youngest child, so I had to be very easygoing, whatever, what have you. And wanting people to see me like as I am. And I think that's how I started making music originally. And when I got to college, when I got here, is kind of when everything like shifted for me, and I realized that what I actually wanted like was not that. And that's also not why people listen to music. People listen to music so they can see themselves in it, so they can connect to it, so they can like basically extrapolate from this one individual's experience and find like the universal chord that connects us all. And that's why people go to the rooms. They want to be with other people and experience this feeling of, like solidarity and the universality of experience. That's not a word, I don't think. Maybe it is. Who's
it's a very communal thing.
Exactly.
Music. It's finding your people.
Exactly. And I think that's what kind of Berkeley really gave me. I ended up dropping out and moving to LA. From Berkeley, I had a musician collaborator friend at the time who I had met through a friend that I met at Berkeley. And he kind of inspired me to drop everything and move to LA. And I was working remote at the time, so it was like a feasible thing to do. And
he's got quite the silver tongue to be able to drop your college education.
Yeah, I think I was ready to do it anyways, honestly.
Did you get inspired by some of the activism, obviously, but also from the musical point of view? Because Berkeley, East Bay is known for being vocal, incorporating the music. Obviously, Green Day has done that and set the blueprint for that, and then all the other rappers that have been involved.
Yep.
Were there any type of artists that kind of inspired you, that you saw, that made you be more confident in this direction?
I think in terms of, it's a really odd answer, but Pilo. When I'm a producer as well, so I think like one of my like favorite all-time producers and just musicians in general is Pilo. Obviously, he's from the Bay, and it's just this ability to make people like dance, feel connected, and kind of forget everything. And I think music has this like crazy power to either like help us disconnect in a way and sort of like escape, or either confront. And I think it's a very powerful thing to be able to do both. And that's kind of what I always wanted to be able to do, is like, if we want to tackle shit head on and be very blunt and just, say things as they are, that's great, but also give people this sort of escape into a new world. And I feel like Pilo does that really well, because like, as you're listening to like put me on something, you're like, and you're just feeling the beat, and you're just like, everyone's dancing, especially in the Bay, like with First Fridays and all like the street festivals, and just like so much community and dancing and culture and just like fun and energy around the music scene. That was something that, like, growing up in New York, it's a lot more serious, if that makes sense. There's a lot of jazz, obviously a lot of hip hop as well, but it feels, less community centric in a way. And I didn't really understand the strength of community like at that level until I got here, honestly.
I think people refer to San Francisco, specifically as the biggest small city.
Yeah.
And then Berkeley has its own scene, obviously.
Exactly.
And
Oakland
history.
too.
And then Oakland as well, right?
Exactly.
But it all blends together because we all obviously think the same. It's spread.
Exactly.
So when you got to LA, that was the mission, that was the goal.
Yeah. Pretty much. I think by the time I got to LA, obviously when I was living here, leaving out a large parts of the story, but I had a lot of mental health issues while I was here. And so a big part of leaving Berkeley was kind of, I felt like if I wanted to do this life, I was going to have to live it in a way that was like in accordance with my values, and that was not going to make me miserable every day to wake up. And I think working in finance kind of did that for me. I felt like it was pointless in a way. And I was like actively enabling the displacement of so many.
You're a part of it.
Yeah, but exactly. But I was like objectively a part of the problem, and I think that was a difficult thing to contend with. And then my sort of way of not fixing that, because you can't undo the damage.
Right.
But my way of moving onwards and making sure I wasn't as at least overtly as much part of the problem was to make music calling out the problem, and also to make music that support people that are struggling, to make them feel seen, to make them feel comfortable sharing their emotions and sitting with their vulnerability and expressing their thoughts. And now I think it's really awesome, because it's like I have a lot of people who can't explicitly say their thoughts on the government and what is happening out loud for various reasons, whether they're federal employees or like immigration status, what have you. And so to be able to say things that other people cannot, but that they can then feel like the solidarity and like the anger and the rage and the sadness through, is like just so awesome. And really, really cool.
I just was thinking about how it's been a long time since we've seen an artist really walk the line of making it somewhat fun, or fun in general, but while receiving a message at the same time that they resonate with.
Exactly.
Rage Against the Machine, it was very much in your face, and and so forth. Then Grandson does something which is totally different as well, right? But then after a number of years, we haven't really seen anybody take the mantle and continue that, especially someone that is not a male, screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Oversharing on the internet is the debut album.
Yes.
Which is apropos for 2026.
It very much is, yes.
I was literally on social media, I think it was on Twitter, and it was literally this same theme of, some NBA players got in a fight. Oh, look at that, a cute cat. Oh, look at this, clavicular, looks maxing.
Exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
And that's the world that we live in.
Yep.
And that's the commentary and reflection of what you're doing on this album.
Exactly. Just the overload. And that's what I try to do in the concert as well. It's kind of taking you through this like emotional arc where there's very high moments, very low moments, and sometimes they're like very disjointed. It's like woo, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down, because that's like the constant overwhelm that we are faced with every day, especially with social media, as we are scrolling past genocide and then a cat and then like frogs, I don't know, on a tree, like having a picnic, like a minute, when people cook the miniature meals for like hamsters and stuff. Have you seen those videos?
No. What's on your For You
Oh
page?
my God, really good things. There's squirrels that have like tea parties. There's like a guy, and there's a bunch of other people actually that do it as well. They cook like tiny miniature meals for them, and then they like put them out at a little picnic table. Yeah. It's really cute.
They spend time to actually cook.
Yes.
We need to exchange.
Cool. It's really cool.
And I'll get that on my feed.
It's adorable.
I was going to say. So then how do you handle that type of overwhelming, whiplash on socials?
I feel like,
considering as an artist, you need to be on socials.
Yeah. It's a great question. That's a phenomenal question. It's something I'm trying to figure out currently. It's a weird, I try to balance like creation and consumption, because I think if you consume too much, you like become debilitated by obviously like the hopelessness or just like the sheer just slop of what you are consuming, and then it becomes hard to feel creative. If you create too much, you're basically just emptying out the creative well, and you have nothing to pull from anymore. You need inspiration. And then obviously if you want to stay informed politically about what's going on, because a lot of the traditional legacy media outlets have very much disappointed us and fallen into some nefarious hands, that a lot of the time it's only accessible to like get this information through the horse's mouth, through independent journalists, through people on the ground, like in Gaza, wherever it may be, people in Minneapolis with all the ICE raids. And so it's a great question. I don't know. I don't really handle it, honestly. Some days I'm like, this is horrible. This is horrible. Nothing I do matters. What are we gonna do? And then other days I'm like, wow, I'm seeing these amazing organizers. I'm seeing middle schoolers walk out of school. I'm seeing like people from all around the world gather and fundraise and protest. So
the bigger question is, how do you deal with nihilism, existentialism, and absurdism at the same time? Because I feel like the way that we're speaking about socials, it's a very nihilistic type of view.
It is.
It's literally called doom scrolling for a reason.
Exactly.
But we have to take this absurdist point of view and just be like, hey, we're just going to roll with it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to, just do it.
Yeah. I think it's that some days I feel like a nihilist, and some days I feel like the most optimistic person out there. I'm like, wow, everything's going to be okay. And even sometimes it's the span of a few hours. And that might just be the experience, like the current paradigm we're living in, honestly. It's like holding two conflicting truths at once, constantly. Yeah.
Songs on the album are really resonating.
Yes.
And a lot of people have shared and talked about No Kings and so forth. And so how easy was that to write? I feel like that is the soundtrack to literally the last year and a half, 2 years.
Honestly, easy. It just came out. Like, that was a very simple writing process. I remember, like, I sat at the piano. It was just there. And that's, like, not particularly common. I think sometimes there are songs that kind of come out of stream of consciousness and they write themselves, just because I was so fed up and so angry I had to say something. And, like, it didn't feel like there was a real choice there. And also just, like, how transparent everything is. It felt like a very obvious thing to write. And then behind the production of it, I really liked this idea. I go to a lot of protests, I perform at protests, and I really like this idea of making music that could be chanted and like an interactive experience, more so than like only performed on a stage with the production. And so like with Threat Level Orange and with No Kings, those were songs that I was able to do that. And so like a lot of the production, like the percussion feels like marching, kind of like rhythmic, because I was really inspired by all like the protest chants and like the rich history of, protest music in general. And I think what you said earlier about like the sound shifting as well is fascinating, because I now get a lot of artists like all over my social media who have taken this idea of like 60s protest like folk music and transformed it into something entirely different. We've got hip hop like the Neighborhood Kids, we've got Grandson, which is like rock. There's like a woman named Renee Christine she's a cellist, and so it's like this just like feminine rage, just like so wonderful. And so we have all these deviations from what was once this like not monolith, but
kind of core sound that
exactly.
People kind of emulated and continued.
Exactly. And it's people basically asking like the songs and where they come from, what they need. So the girl who plays the cello is from Appalachia. So there's like so much of like her like community sound in there and feel. And like, yeah, it's just really awesome to see people take it to this level of like how personal it is, really.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
To meet you.
You as well, truly.
I'm a big fan of your music, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Your music is so Bay Area.
Thank you.
Despite you not being from here.
Thank you. That is the highest of compliments. Thank you.
And best of luck with everything.
Thank you. You as well.
Earth to Eve, right here on B-Sides.